What did Macron's speech today mean to you as someone who lived through this?
Thank you so much for having me. As someone who's been through the genocide, who suffered a lot, and I think for me, I took it as a positive thing to not only to as genocide survivors, to also to French, and I didn't know this day will happen. I appreciate that it really happened. So for me, it was emotional to see that, and I really appreciate the acknowledgement of what what has happened during the genocide against the Tutsi.
Mm. And from your point of view, what exactly was France's role in all of this?
During the genocide against the Tutsi, where actually I was born, where the French at that time, what it was called the zone turquoise, where they were at that time during the genocide. So they allowed militia Hutu extremists who were committing the genocide to leave the country. And also during the genocide, there are some parts of in Rwanda, in Bisesero, where they allowed those who were committing the genocide to continue committing the genocide. I know some people who lost, who were killed when they were actually going to the French and not thinking that they were going to find refuge to them. So, and for me, I know personally that, you know, those families that I know who lost their lives, and when they thought they were, you know, they survived, it's personal to me. So for him to acknowledge that, I think it's really huge, and hopefully, and with the speech he made, that they are going to for those who are in France who committed the genocide, those who are living there, that they are going to make sure that they face justice. And really, for me, it's a huge step, and it's really good for all young generation, both Rwandans and French, so to see this happening. So, and I'm really happy he did that. So it happened. So.
Consolee, thank you for sharing that. For people who have no idea and can't even begin to imagine what it was like to live through this, what do you wish people understood about what happened then?
For those who don't know what happened, the genocide was well planned, and it was a horrific thing that took many millions of Tutsis, and one of those people who lost my dad and my three younger brothers were brutally tortured. And during that time, like many other young women and girls, I was raped. I lived with the consequences. I lived with HIV. I'm one of the many who live with the consequences. And this will take a long time for us as survivors to heal. It's a journey, and for us to see really this happening, and it really helps us in our healing journey as well. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Consolee. And you mentioned the importance of this healing journey. Now that you live in the U.S., a lot of people have been critical of America's response at the time. What else do you wish to see done here in the States to acknowledge this?
I'm hoping that this will also help, especially the United States, to also start, and many other countries in the world, to acknowledge that it's the genocide against the Tutsi. I know it's hard for many of the people to use that terminology. It's important to us because we are in the last stage of denial. So it's important to also say it's a genocide against the Tutsi, so that for us survivors, really important for us to hear that. And I'm hoping that what happened, it's going to be a lesson to helping where there's a genocide happening anywhere in the world, so that whenever we see something happening like a genocide, we should do something. And I really encourage the US and many other countries in the world to step up and do something and put political thing aside and help people who are going through that tragedy, and be there for them. And another thing is, and also help us to to take those who committed the genocide to face justice, and I think that's the thing the United States is also doing. There are some perpetrators who have been captured here, and keep doing that and help us. And I think it's really important to us, and I'm grateful for what they do. So.